welcome to Costume Commentary. I'm Kate.
And I'm Brit, and today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of video games, all from the same franchise, being Bioshock.
But not Bioshock Infinite. We've already done that one.
And if you want to check it out, click right here where we're doing Magic Hands. Today we're going to be focusing on Bioshock 1, 2, and the DLC for Bioshock Infinite, Burial at Sea, which takes you back to Rapture. If you have not played Bioshock 1, we're not doing spoilers in this video, but do not Google it to look at the costumes. Just do it! Don't play the game. Google nothing.
The reason that we combined all of these awesome video games and DLCs into one video is A, because they're all from the same franchise, and B, unlike Bioshock Infinite, they all have the same kind of feel to them. They've all got this perfectly vintage horror feel to them.
My favorite little detail nugget about these games is that they're set in the 1960s, but Rapture was founded in the 1940s. And if you haven't played, Rapture is a city at the bottom of the sea. So they became really isolated. They've sort of become a living time capsule.
Yeah, and I think it really attributes to the fact that it doesn't exactly look like the 1940s, because in their own little bubble over 15 to 20 years, they've developed their own sense of style. And so it is the 40s, but it's on video game crack.
Well, that's probably my favorite thing about Bioshock games as a whole, is that there is no detail, no stone left unturned. It's very well thought out and complete as like a vision.
So one of the most iconic characters in the games is the Little Sisters, which are these young girls who are kind of in a stasis of their youngness. These little girls are dressed in sweet little dresses that do a really good job of feeling like the 1940s, even if they're not exactly spot on. Their sleeves are a little bit too 50s.
Yeah.
Dresses for little girls would have came about to the knee, but their proportions, just like in most video games, aren't actually human proportions, so I can understand the hemline not being right. Their hair actually is one of my favorite things, is their hair is so well done to look like the perfect little 1940s kid. Yeah, the little sister. What about the big sister? Big sister is terrifying, but also the heart of goodness in some ways. She is both the antagonist and the protagonist of Bioshock 2. She goes throughout this entire game wearing similar to a Big Daddy suit, but obviously you can tell right away it's a woman. She feels a lot more fluid. She almost looks like a gymnast. I think it adds to her scariness. She almost kind of feels like a spider crawling around.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things is when she takes off her helmet for the first time, she does not have perfect pin curled hair.
Nope.
She doesn't have any makeup on, and that to me really sealed the deal in liking her design for me, because so they could have easily gone like, oh, she removes her helmet and she's like got the perfect 1940s teenager look going on. You're not gonna run around saving people and pin curling your hair every night when you fall asleep, if you get to sleep.
With the big sisters, obviously you have the big daddies. They're the antagonists in the first Bioshock, and the sometimes antagonist, sometimes main character of Bioshock 2. They are just ginormous. The costume plays so much into that. The squat, wide proportions add so much to their like menacing, towering sort of vibe they have. And I also loved, and it's also something I loved about the big sister, is the old-timey scuba diver helmet that was incorporated into every version of the Big Daddy as well as the little sister. What if something weird happens and they need the Big Daddy suits to like go out, which you do in Bioshock 2, go out into the water. They are literally at the bottom of the ocean. You would have to have something hugely pressurized in order to be able to handle that. And like those Big Daddy suits look like they could have 10 elephants stand on top of them and still be standing up straight underneath. They're the most formidable characters in the game. Every time you have to fight a Big Daddy to get through a level, it's just like, oh my gosh. The Big Daddies are one of my favorite things about the games. I think they were costumed really well.
The Splicers. Oh, the Splicers.
Splicers is where you get the most diversity.
They basically are people who have modified themselves with upgrades that you can get in Rapture.
Adam and Eve. It's very heavy-handed in its symbolism.
Yes. The Splicers do a really good job of being a 1940s human being, where their costuming is really great. I feel like the men overshadow in the costuming department than over the women. There's just a lot more diversity in what the men wear.
The women are sort of just different colors of
the same dress.
Very same dress.
Yeah.
The Bioshock 2 has a lot more diversity than Bioshock 1 did, which is understandable. It's something that people don't think about, but creating multiple NPCs that all have a very different look is so much work and very hard to do, and we appreciate games that do it now. So it's easier to understand, like, that game's actually, Bioshock 1 is actually kind of old now.
Yeah, it is.
And so I can understand why they sort of just cookie-cuttered that one girl. It worked. She added to the vibe, and then the masks.
Okay, now masks are creepy in and of themselves. Now you put blood on them, tear them up, and put somebody whacking you with a wrench in the dark.
What's underneath is even worse. And then you have Sander Cohen. Sander Cohen is another one he's like one of my favorites. And he's also one of my favorites in Burial at Sea. It's this alternate universe situation where they're in Rapture and some things are the same as Bioshock 1 and 2, but some things are different.
The cabaret scene in Burial at Sea is one of my favorite scenes in all of the games.
Yeah.
It is just so beautiful and dark and creepy.
Yeah.
And the costumes in it are spot on. You really kind of feel like you're in a Twisted Freak show. We've talked about Elizabeth before. I liked Elizabeth's costume in Burial at Sea a lot more than Bioshock Infinite, except for her waistline is wrong. Her waistline is too low. I feel like her costume really mirrors her costume in Bioshock Infinite, but updates it for Rapture, which is a lot darker and more dramatic.
Oh yeah, much more adult. The contrast in it, the way that she's styled, it absolutely gives her an instant character breakdown without her saying or doing anything. You could just see that outfit on the hanger and you kind of know the person who's wearing it. And another example of something switching between its original timeline and then the Burial at Sea timeline that I really love and just want to touch on is Sander Cohen. He's still an artist. He's still trying to create his masterpiece, but now his masterpiece is a different venue than it was before. He goes from trying to write these plays and operas to becoming a painter. I loved that the costume is absolutely still Sander Cohen, but fits this new pathway that he's on in this new alternate universe. Bad news first. Who is your least favorite?
My least favorite, if I had to pick one, which is really hard for me to do in this game, it would have to be the female splicers from Bioshock 1. Just because they all feel like the same person with different colored hair or a different colored dress. Not super crazy about the dress that they're wearing. That's the only reason I don't like it, honestly. I have more things I love about this video game series than things that I don't like. What was your least favorite?
Well, my least favorite is one that actually a lot of people love, so I'm going to make people sad again. But I was not a big fan of Eleanor as the big sister, especially once she removes the helmet. And I think it's the jumpsuit underneath. One of the things that I so loved about the Big Daddies was how mechanical they seemed and how they are just this one big, huge, giant unit. Hers is she has like the mechanisms on her hand and the helmet, but the jumpsuit definitely, it's like a different color. It looks almost like a canvas fabric. It's more obvious, and this is probably what they were going for, but it's more obvious that it's not someone who's been indoctrinated as much as the Big Daddies have. It's someone who has put on the suit and then put on the helmet. Works perfectly for the plot. I totally understand why they did it, but I just love the iconography of the Big Daddies so much and the thought that went into those suits that hers is missing all my favorite things. So which one is your favorite?
My favorite is Dr. Sophia Lamb. She just does a really good job of looking right. Her costume is, I would say, the most spot on for 1940s-ish. Her hair is very well done. Her glasses are very well done. I think she's a really great character, and her costuming really added to that because she gave you a sense of comfort that was almost immediately robbed from you. And it was great. What was your favorite?
My favorite, which is probably kind of obvious because I keep talking about them, is the Big Daddies. I love how they are horrifying, but you can also understand how these little sisters can look at them and be like, that's Mr. Bubbles. I cry every time when you kill the Big Daddies and then the little girls are like, get off Mr. Bubbles! Oh. I think it's the proportions of it, where in comparison to you, I mean, and the little sisters, they are huge and towering, but if you look at them overall, They're kind of squat and wide and like almost a little bit chubby, and they are weirdly terrifying and cute at the same time. They're cute. They got this like big old face and it's like real cute.
Overall, we absolutely loved these games. They're beautiful, they're haunting, they're terrifying.
They'll make you reconsider all of your life choices. It does have one of the biggest twists of all time, the very first game does, which we will not spoil for you. But if you have not yet been spoiled for Bioshock 1, play it as soon as you can for the love of God, because spoilers are everywhere. That's gonna do it for today. If you like this video, make sure to leave it a like down below and comment what you'd like to see us review the costumes from next.
Please stay tuned this upcoming Friday for a review of the very first Hellboy movie. Make sure to click subscribe down below so you'll be notified as soon as that comes out.
Thanks for watching!
Some of the changes that they made, both from like historical comic books and the actual Suicide comic books, I really enjoyed, except for one character.
Just to preface this review, we're coming at it from two different perspectives. I have never read a DC comic